All good, like 2 weeks ago. It's all good.
So Bryce, on Sunday, probably big explosive plays,
Yeah.
just did everything a lot of people thought he would be before the season began.
Right.
What was different?
I mean, to me, I think it's about being able to have time in the pocket. But like anything else, when you go through a process and you invest in things, it always manifests and happen when you want them to. And I think we kind of have that expectation a lot of times. It's like it's got to happen right now. I know I do, but I think we all do. But I think being able to have our guys be into a rhythm, continue to practice the right way, eventually end up kind of clicking and be on the same page. So it's good.
And he said all year that he believes he has the weapons around him that he could succeed.
Yeah.
But until yesterday, we really hadn't seen that. Sunday, what was so much different that everybody seemed to be on the same page?
Yeah, again, I think it was just more of have more time on task with what we're doing coming from an offensive standpoint the last few weeks, kind of building upon that. But also just how the run game kind of complements the drop back pass game. And have more time in the pocket to be able to get guys open down the field was the biggest part of it.
Would you say that was kind of what's the signature you put on this offense since you took over?
I mean, I won't say me. We all kind of had our hand in it. I think us being able to kind of put our heads together as a staff and try to figure out what fits us best. Again, like I said at the very beginning when I took back over, you can't try to have a wholesale change right now, but being able to have a few wrinkles here and there throughout the from a week-to-week standpoint to kind of fit us was a big part of us having success.
Did you see this one coming, or?
I mean, I expect to do well every week. So, I mean, I have the same approach, mindset, mentality, approach with the group as far as their confidence and our belief in them. But I think it was definitely great to be able to have our guys come to life some, just end up, falling a little bit short round of time. But it's considered something we can definitely build upon.
Hey, Coach, with the way Jensen has graded out the last 2 weeks and the way the defense has looked in the second half the last 2 weeks, Gabe Jackson, could he be in line to start?
I mean, definitely. I mean, everything is kind of up and on the table as far as not just that position, but we're always evaluating every single spot to try to figure out who gives the best opportunity to be consistent. And did a nice job kind of coming in, stepping in from a second half standpoint, but also a second quarter kind of on as far as being able to get moving in the run game, but also hold up one-on-one in pass pro.
Yeah, I do understand the whole development concept. And I was wondering, why did you stick with Jensen last week?
Well, again, I think it's more of a process throughout the week as far as practice goes, giving guys an opportunity to compete. And again, I think it's not always a one-size-fits-all approach when you kind of make movements as far as whether it be up front or any other position group in general, giving guys an opportunity to continue to improve themselves and compete for an opportunity to go play.
How has Jackson's leadership been as he's been here for 3-4 weeks now?
I mean, leadership, I would say, is kind of more so just getting adjusted to a new environment, a new staff, new players, and also a new offense, which is kind of, some of the process about being able to have him and Nash rotate some. Obviously, Nash has more time on task with our offense from just being here in general a little bit longer. But he goes about his business the right way every single day. So keep it going the right direction, hopefully.
And the health of the tackles?
Say it again.
The health of the tackles?
So far, so good.
The decision to use Bryce as a quarterback sneak, which we hadn't seen before, what finally made you guys want to do that?
Well, again, I think we had some good answers throughout the year when it comes to short yardage. I think at one point we were in the top half of the league when it comes to conversions on third and 1 to 2. But it's kind of more about what the defense presents. But again, also being able to build tendencies week in and week out to have an opportunity at some point to be able to break them.
He was a guy you seemed to protect for not doing that. You bring in Dalton sometimes. But did you see that, hey, maybe he can be that guy that can
I think people assume that. I've never said we're trying to protect Bryce from QB sneaks. I mean, Bryce runs a lot. If we've obviously watched from week in and week out, again, it's more about just how we kind of put some stuff together as far as how the opponent kind of tries to defend you and then trying to put our guys in the best spot to have success.
Any designed runs for Bryce coming up?
Who knows? We'll see. We got 2 weeks left, so we'll see.
But staying on the run game, Chuba Hubbard has had a really good year. A 1,000-yard rushing season is within his grasp in the next 2 weeks. I don't know, what can you say about him? He was coming in not necessarily knowing he was going to be the number one back. What can you say about his year?
I mean, I really can't say enough about just the way he's handled everything, as you mentioned before, as far as coming into the year when everybody else thought he was going to be and his role was going to be. Even at times as far as the staff, as far as how we started out with his role being for our offense. But the epitome of a guy that goes to work every single day, has the right mentality and mindset, never complains, but also kind of just brings his lunch pail to work and encourages the rest of the group to kind of do a really good job as far as raising their level as well. So continue to try to find ways to get him involved. He's probably would have been one of the more consistent leaders we've had as far as his vocal leadership, but also on the field play as well. So hope to keep it going in the right direction.
What do you see in Jacksonville that you guys, without giving away your game plan, feel like you can kind of exploit?
I mean, they're really good defense, and they're talented at every single level, from the up front D-line wise to the linebacker core, also secondary as well. So it's going to be important for us to build upon last week, but also be consistent when it comes to our approach. Again, still trying to find ways to establish everything a little bit earlier and start faster when it comes to not shooting ourselves in the foot, having MAs early, giving up easy sacks. Those type of things we've got to be able to eliminate to give ourselves a better shot to get going a little bit faster in games. But us being disciplined, being detailed, and giving opportunity for our guys to make plays is going to be the biggest part of it.
They're 29th in the league against the pass, so giving up 250-something. I mean, is that an area you think they're vulnerable? Or?
I mean, they do a lot of stuff from a secondary standpoint, pressure-wise, so they do take some chances from time to time. But, again, it's always – we have a specific game plan every week about the opponent, but, again, it's still about what gives us the best chance to put our guys in the spot to make plays is the biggest part of it.
And back on you mentioned Bryce had time to do what he needed to do. Has that been the biggest issue all year for him, just not really having time to not, get back, find receivers to have time to get open? Has that really been the one thing that's been the bugaboo for this team?
I mean, I won't say it's just one thing in general. I think just overall the consistency at how we've built the offense, having, change from time to time is not always great when it comes to time on task as far as consistency goes. But I think us being able to, again, he's a rookie quarterback who's super talented, but still being able to understand how to play in this league, operate and deal with the guys around him has kind of been, more of an answer, just one thing being the reason that things haven't clicked as much.
And obviously with going to be turnover after this season, you're leaving your trademark here. What do you think that's going to be on what it is, and would you like to be considered for the job here?
I mean, I'm worried about Thursday. So we just had a great meeting about third downs, and I just got done kind of scripting red zone for tomorrow as well, so that's going to be my focus, and I'll try to get a win on Sunday.
That's your trademark. What do you think that'll be?
I try to take great pride in what I bring to the table every single day as far as my attitude and my approach. And I've gotten similar questions before in the past about what the future may bring, and I know it probably seems redundant in like a coach's response, but honestly, you ask people that actually know me, I just really, one day at a time, being consistent. And honestly, I think what you do in the present helps to kind of dictate and put you in a good spot from a future standpoint. So that's all I have is guaranteed is today. So my focus is going to be on this Thursday.
This is a unique situation for a lot of guys out there. And, I mean, some guys may be kept, some guys, they're going to move on, and whoever the new coach is. So, I mean, it is unique. So that's got to be in the back of your mind as singularly focused as you are.
Honestly, it's not, because I can't control it. So I try my best to block out anything I can't control. I don't really worry about what the outside world and perspective kind of thinks about what we do every single day. And all I control to get is my attitude and my effort. So that's hard enough as it is to control that. So I'll work on that.
I want to follow up one more time. I asked you last week about moments that stood out with Bryce. You thought of any that key things that have, like, kind of behind the scenes that have jumped out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's overall just comfort level when it comes to week in and week out, but also being able to be in more of a vocal leadership position. Not that when you play quarterback, you're already thrust into a leadership role, but I think even his demeanor at halftime, after I get done kind of addressing the group, a lot of times we end up kind of following up with a couple of different guys around the offense to kind of encourage him, but also motivate him to kind of start a little bit faster from a second half standpoint. But just the way he kind of goes about his business every single day. I mean, looking for a specific story in general, but I mean, he's about as consistent as it comes as far as his overall approach, which I definitely appreciate.
But he seemed down at times, or more almost
I
shell-shocked.
won't say down. I think it's more just frustrated. I mean, I think we're all disappointed when it comes to if you're a true competitor, losing is never acceptable or fun. So I think it's more about that. I think, again, he's an individual who can be really, really tough on himself from an individual performance standpoint, but also trying to find ways to do a better job to uplift the entire offense in general. So I wouldn't say down at all. He's, his same approach in and out of the building every single day and what he brings to the practice field. But it's more about just trying to have a high standard overall just for himself, but also the whole group.
Thomas, there are a couple of players on the offense who have spent time in Jacksonville. I know a couple of them are hurt right now, but among them DJ Chark. What, as a former player who's been in this sport for so long, what does it mean for them to go against an old team?
I think it depends. I think everybody's different as far as their overall approach and how they feel about being on different teams. Some guys could have a personal vendetta against a certain organization they've kind of been a part of before, but I don't really sense that at all from the guys that we have. I really haven't spoken to DJ in specifics about that, but that's not really his personality in general. And so I think it's more about just us kind of trying to build upon what we did last week and get ready for a tough test on Sunday.
So
what has been behind the growing DJ Bryce connection that we've seen on the field the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I think it's been growing with all the receivers. I think obviously Adam kind of started out as being the main step, and probably is in a lot of ways as far as what he attracts to how we use him in our offense, but also using Mingo at times, getting Amir more involved from a receiving standpoint. But I think it's, again, just time on task and continuing to try to find ways to build with the skill group we have to put guys in the spot to make plays.
So why did it take so long for Chark to kind of emerge?
Again, I don't know if it's a direct answer I can give to that. Again, I think it's more about how they play him from a defensive standpoint, what we're able to activate in that specific game plan. But I think he's had some opportunities early in the season. I think he had a great big touchdown pass, I think, kind of against Seattle. So I think it's more about what happens week in, week out as far as how the defense plays us, as far as his overall production.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.